Okay, so the last thing of the day we're going to talk about, and again, this fits on really nicely with like music business, right?
Absolutely. And when people are not savvy business wise,
So,
can passion overtake common sense?
but working in music and releasing original music,
Yes.
we all know what it's like to have people reach out to you. And I was going to look for the email, but I don't need to, because I can tell you what it said. When people reach out to you and say, I like what you do, I'd like to work with you, give me money. Yeah, we've already had that with the Guitar Souls. Someone reached out to us after we put 2 podcasts up, and we got an email saying, I've been listening to your album, the Guitar Souls podcast, really enjoying it. I think you've got a really fresh and original sound, and I think your songs deserve to be heard by more people. So, you know, we market people, and we think that we could probably, you know, get you some decent gigs and maybe get your music synced and things.
That'd be great.
And I'm just like, have you even like 2 seconds? This is 2 angry men shouting into a microphone.
I think that'd be really good live, but we'd have to do it like word for word, inflection for inflection, for it to be a live show.
Yeah. So the inspiration for this actually came from like literally 10 minutes before Mike showed up. Someone posted on Facebook this musicians hit by management scam.
Which is on BBC News if you want to go and look it.
And it was listed as the worst music scam of the last 20 years. A music company scam has left artists thousands of pounds out of pocket, with one singer saying she now faces being made homeless because of her losses.
I know.
Now, this is a story, like it's a... there's idiots on both sides.
Of course. No one is perfect in this story at any point.
Yeah, so...
Hopefully this will be some sort of insight to what Levi and I, our experiences and our reflections on other people's experiences, and with any luck, you'll take away from that the common sense indicator that if it's too good to be true, it probably is, and don't be a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
Does that sound a bit fair to summarise it before we talk about it?
Yeah.
Cool, let's do this. Let's do this.
So there's a couple of people involved in this story.
Yes.
Sarah Kaloxy. I'm not gonna. I'm sorry for butchering your surname, but so singer Sarah Kaloxy says she's paid £2,000 to this company, Band Management Universal, for a contract that was supposed to include music production, marketing, gigs, tours, as well as help to secure a recording contract. The company failed to deliver on these services and refund her money, and she's now faces being evicted from her flat. She goes on to say, they took everything. I had put my heart and soul into this, and it's been shattered to pieces. She claims that she suffered a hate campaign after she spoke out. She received abusive messages attacking her looks and mental health, and received a number of targeted negative reviews after complaining about the company online. She says she's been signed off work for 18 months with anxiety, depression and panic attacks, lost her job and could not bring herself to perform for a year afterwards. She goes on to say, at 27, I don't want to have to keep falling on my dad. I just want to make him proud and look after him for a change.
I do feel sorry for her if the point about a hate campaign is serious. If people are out there giving her shit for any matter of things, I know you're sceptical. You always are.
But do you know how we know that this probably isn't true?
How so?
Because they just posted an example of it in the article. If she'd got a mean tweet, any mean messages, literally anything, we know from current experience and what our friends are going through, like any opportunity to throw in a tweet just helps with the story, and it would get people more on her side.
Who knows? Maybe these are journalists with integrity. They don't want to decontextualise
Such
or
things don't exist, Mike.
misintent certain things.
Yeah,
they do exist. They're rare, but they do exist. Anyway, we're going off topic. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm not helping.
Yeah, but point is, like, if that's happened, like a hate campaign, dreadful, awful. But I can't help but look at this and think,
toxic business.
It's a shitty business to be in. But if you've put yourself in a position where you can't pay your rent, like, you've made a fucking terrible business decision.
Yeah,
and
that's kind of what I meant, rather than the business being the problem. It's
if people saying mean things to you online is enough to stop you from being able to perform for a year afterwards, I'm sorry, you're not cut out for this industry.
No, you're not. You're absolutely not. Like,
someone said you look like Shrek just yesterday.
That's fair.
And apparently they went, it's a compliment though. It's like A Shrek fetish or something.
Somebody. Oh, it's plenty, sorry. That's a bit fucked up. But okay, like I take that as the intended compliment it was. I'm glad that I'm a responsible landowner and a hero with a happy life and what seems like quite a good deal with Disney. Thanks. I suppose.
Yeah, he's nothing to do with Disney. It's DreamWorks. But...
Oh, sorry. Are they not owned by Disney?
No.
I thought DreamWorks were part of Pixar, which was part of Disney. No? Okay, sorry, my apologies.
Universal, I think.
Oh, okay, sorry, I'm not a child's film geek like you.
Yeah, I know. We're talking about like...
See how I insulted him and he just moved on with it because he's a responsible adult and not a stupid child?
I'm going to carry on with it. The peppercock thing. And I was thinking...
Big Nigel?
Big picture of peppercock. And I'm going, I'm not taking the Little Mermaid painting that I've got in my living room down. And it can't go in the kitchen because I've got my Beauty and the Beast painting in the kitchen.
To be fair, man, those are very good works of art. They are. Anyway, again, we detract. We are the worst for just going off subject and talking shit off kilter. So to go back to Sarah and her story about being the subject of a hate campaign after she paid an agency $2,000 who were apparently going to help her get a record deal. Now, no offence to her, but that's not what most marketing companies are actually good at. They're good at getting you live shows. They're good at helping you promote your own content and build on your social media plans, but they can't just go, fuck, there's Sony, fuck it, we'll go to Sony BMG. Listen, this is this artist that we've asked to pay his money, so do you like the CD? Do you want to be part of this? And they'll go, no. You're a fucking idiot.
Yeah, we're kind of towing the line here of being considered part of this hate campaign. I don't want it to be about like ripping into her. Like,
no,
aside from saying like you're not cut out for the industry, if like stuff like that can get you down, because there are other people involved in the story as well. I get it. Like her ultimate situation is she handed over £2,000 to this company, and they promised her things in return. And for all we know, they might have delivered those things. You know, they might have walked into Sony's offices in London. Right. I've been in, and they might have handed them a demo CD.
Absolutely,
and nothing came of it.
Yeah, they might be well linked up and well known in that AR circle.
Probably didn't.
No, I'm not saying they didn't. I'm not saying they didn't. Unfortunately, you can't speculate that way.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're probably right saying that the likelihood of it happening is very, very low.
Yeah.
But that doesn't change that it could have happened.
Hey, what she claims she was expecting was music production, marketing, gigs and tours.
Yeah.
And they may have attempted to deliver all of those and then failed miserably. I've not heard her music. She could be dreadful. She could be excellent. They might have tried to get her gigs based on her abilities, and no one was interested.
That's it. They might even be doing her current recordings.
Now, I don't want anyone to think that I'm siding with the company here, because I think that they are operating a scam. The point is more as how can we protect ourselves as individuals and artists. If somebody came to you and said, I want to offer you help with music production, I want to help with your marketing, I want to get you gigs, I want to get you tours, I want to help you get a recording contract, it's going to cost you £2,000. What's your initial reaction? Now, I know from experience that you've... So, go on.
Very similar. I will not mention the company that was involved. I won't even allude to their name, just because it's bad. It's just shit.
I like naming people, but
I know you do.
Professional.
But I don't see what's to gain from naming them. Like everyone else who's ever been approached with them, except the artists that are obviously on their rosters and registers, don't want to operate the way they want to operate. Anyway. Party Cannon, not that long ago, received, I believe it was an email, if not a Facebook message. I don't consider Facebook messages unprofessional before anyone says, because it's such an important social media platform for any musician. And to deny that is exactly what Aaron Marshall was talking about. You've not adapted to the market. You're fucking yourself over. Why? It doesn't cost you money to subscribe. You maybe pay a little bit of money to do your advertising, but then you reach a lot of people. And it's a very popular platform. Anyway, we were contacted by Company X saying, hi guys, really like what you're doing. Could you tell us what your plans are for the year in terms of gigs and stuff? Obviously, it kind of raises your interest. So replied back to say, here's what we've got on at the moment. Can we ask why you're curious? I'm guessing it's something to do with maybe working together. And they said, yeah, we'd love to work in a very similar wording to how Band Management Universal BMU that we're talking about at the moment kind of put it forward, that it would be for music production, marketing gigs, tours, help get into bigger labels, exposure, licensing deals, just anything that would basically add up to a bigger business portfolio for the band sounds very good on initial point. And we're like, cool, that'd be great. Well, what is your ideas? Like, obviously, we want to know everything you intend to do and what your plans are before we even talk about whether it's feasible or not, because you might be asking for a commitment we can't give you. You might be asking for us to tour 6 months of the year. We're all professionals with jobs outside of the band. This isn't even our income. This is really like it funds itself. None of us take money from it because everything that goes back into it then pays for more gigs and more tours. Anyway, we got a reply back, and it was, here is a copy of the contract that we would propose. Let me know what you think. And inside said contract was, you will pay us £1,000 every 3 months, payable on the 1st of January, the 1st of April, the 1st of July, and the 1st of October, I think it was, if memory serves correctly. And pretty much some grey area vague text about how they will market and do music production and try and get us gigs and tours and help secure recording contracts that are bigger than what we're on at the moment. And we replied back saying, sorry, that's not a contract we'd be willing to enter at any stage at the moment, because you have no quantifiable way to show us what you actually intend to do. And if you do want to work together, which we were not opposed to, then why don't we work out some sort of percentage? Then that way, as a businessman, I would say, in terms of the band, we can then quantify how much work you're actually doing, because we're not going to keep self-promoting as we do at the moment to get all these gigs for you to then demand £1,000 in 3 months' time, and us have no real solid evidence that you've done anything to help that or hinder it. But no, because then you've got passive income on behalf of someone else. There's no way to tell what you've done and what your contributions are. And basically the reply was, well, how are you going to pay us a percentage when this or that happens? And we're like, well, you're talking hyperbole and like things that, hypotheticals that might happen. Like, you're diving off the deep end here. Like, you've not even included any information as like how you would help grow social media stands and all that kind of stuff. And we just kind of whacked off. And exactly as I said before we started talking about the topic, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. There's just... That
one doesn't even seem too good to be true. I just look at that and I'm like, of course that's a fucking bad idea.
But like, you think about it, like when you get that initial thing through, if you are green, it's maybe the wrong term to use, but if you are fresh to the music industry and don't understand that it's not all people looking after each other and sunshine and rainbows, and that the rock star fantasy that used to be there for like Guns N' Roses touring for years at a time in Metallica and owning mansions, and Bruce Dickinson owning his own fucking airplane and flying fucking football teams around the world and shit and whatever else, that dream is gone. That is finito, unless you are a massive pop artist or a very intelligent ghostwriter, which then just goes under music business because you're still just diversifying your portfolio. Then that's not going to happen. You are not going to make that level. You can be comfortable, you have opportunities to get to that level, but no.
The thing is, so like when you look back in history, how many artists can we think of? Oh, I won't get you to name any because probably none, but you will have heard stories of artists suing their managers.
Basic rollers.
It happens all the time because in the history of the music industry, managers are in a prime position to completely fuck over their artists and completely take advantage of them.
Basic rollers is the perfect example. They walked away with all the money that the band made and basically went, oh, where's our cut? And the management basically stood with a middle finger in their faces like, there's your cut right there. There's your cut. Look at it. See it? Whoa, it's great, isn't it? Wee, so wee, bye.
It's a brilliant thing, a percentage, because it's the great equalizer.
Absolutely.
And managers shouldn't be shying away from taking percentages, because if you have a band that's a 5-piece, there's 5 members in Party Cannon, right?
Correct.
So all equal members, 20%, I would assume.
Well, we haven't really discussed that in terms of who's due.
If it's not been discussed,
percentage.
legally speaking, it's treated as an equal venture.
I've no doubt that everyone would say it's an equal venture. Yeah. Credit to Chris, he writes the majority of songs, or certainly starts most of them, before they're kind of worked on. But it's never been discussed because it's never been a business decision we've had to approach.
But point is,
yes.
So you're currently in a position where, theoretically speaking, 20% is yours. You own 20% of it, right?
You say that right.
So as soon as a manager comes in, a standard deal for a manager is 20%, and that's 20% of gross. So he gets 20%, and then the 80% that is left would then be divided between the four of you. So right off the bat, the manager is already in a more profitable position than any member of the band. And the manager,
stakeholder, like any other business.
And then the manager doesn't just have one band, though. The manager will have several bands. So
if he's any good,
so
or she. Not being sexist.
So band management is a great place to make good money. If you're good at your fucking job and you're taking already more than the band, each member of the band is taking, and you've got several bands, then it's brilliant. Whereas in this scenario where you've got some clown coming along trying to take £1,000 from you every 3 months and not willing to work on a percentage, fucking red flags, alarms should be ringing. Like this is. It's in his interests to want to take a percentage, because the better he does, the more money he makes. The only reason somebody would want a flat fee from you before services have been provided, if you agree to a flat fee that is delivered after services have been provided, and you can look at it and see that you have been provided with the services, that's not as bad.
No, of course not.
Before services have actually been provided, the only way that I can possibly look at that is say, well, this guy clearly doesn't think that taking 20% of the revenue that he's going to generate for us is going to make him more than £1,000, or else he'd do that.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And that might not even just be like purely about money. It may be willingness to prove they're doing any work, because I think you say like the percentage being the great equalizer, that is a quantifiable measure. Cool, this guy's extra has the band usually makes £1,000 in merchandise. He's been marketing and we've now made £6,000 this month, so we've had quite a large increase, and this person is now getting X amount of money because they've proven and they've put the legwork in, and the statistics speak for themselves that this level of work has went in their end, and therefore that money is due.
Yep.
But to then go, I'll just set up a standing order for every 3 months to send this guy £1,000, and then you go, cool. What are you working on for us this month? I phoned my mate and I said, do you like bands? And he said no, and I was like, no bother. What? Like, if that is the terms that are being presented to you, I'm not saying don't go for it, because that would paint everybody that's doing management of bands, and probably quite a lot of them use that same model, paints them in a bad light. That's not to say they're all the same, and that's not to say people won't look after you, and that might not be the worst fee. That might actually be one of the best things your band does, or you as an artist.
Just seek advice.
Exactly. And I think maybe I'm going out on a limb and I'm speaking on behalf of both of us, but if anyone listening is at any point curious about a deal and they want someone else's advice, contact us. We'd love to talk to you about it. Like, I know I would, and I know Levi would anyway. I'm speaking on behalf of him, but he's a fucking guru. He genuinely is. Like, if I've got any advice, and I've been now gigging with Party Cannon for nearly 5 years, we've been pretty much a lot of places in the world, and we've done quite well for ourselves, signed an American record label, etc. If I've got questions about business stuff, I'll run it past Levi, because I know that even if it's not directly applicable, he will have some experience in that sector, or near enough by, and he's business minded, that I'll get some advice that helps.
I did music business at university, so like
there you go.
And nearly married someone in music publishing. Like
there you go.
Yeah, it's something I take an interest in, and it hurts me to read stories like this where people are getting ripped off, because this shouldn't be happening.
But even on top of that, see, for people who are not inside the music business industry, or even in the music industry at all, from the outside, that devalues music business in general, because you've got no one here's a winner. You've got a company that looks like they're scamming people, so therefore the music industry looks like it's full of people who are disingenuous, and you can't trust them. Other side of it is you don't believe Sarah's story, and then right away you go, music's full of whinging bastards. Do you know what I mean? Who wins from that? No one, except the people that look at it and go, there's a great business lesson for me.
Well, the person winning is the one that's got all these thousands of pounds in his pocket.
For now, I'm sure that will change.
Yeah,
you're right.
One last comment on that before I move on to the actual last story, because there was something else we were going to talk about. In Party Cannon's situation, and to liken it to Party Cannon, where this guy wants £1,000 from you every 3 months, like, you're the commodity, you're the thing that makes money.
Yep.
So if you're in a position where somebody approaches you, they are doing so to increase their business. They want to make money. They're not. It's not philanthropy. They're not trying to help you out just for being a nice guy.
Definitely not.
All business is about a mutual mutually beneficial thing. Everybody has to benefit out of
We
it.
spoke about this when we were talking about endorsements. It's got to work both ways.
Yeah.
Equally or offset in a way that makes it better or worthwhile for both parties.
So if someone is coming to you, it's because they want to use you to make money. Nothing inherently wrong with that.
Not
That's
at all.
fine, as long as it's mutually beneficial. So for them to be asking for money up front from you, you have to take a step back and go, well, hang on a minute. I'm the commodity here. I'm the thing that's, without me, no one makes money. So you shouldn't be in this position where you feel that handing over money to someone is the best way for you to make money. Giving someone your money is not the best way for you to make money.
Yeah. I can see your band is doing very well. Give me money and you might see some benefits.
My band's already doing well. Thank you very
go back
much.
to original statement. The band's doing well. That didn't happen through luck. Partially. That didn't happen through inaction. That was deliberate. Maybe that's a strong word, but it was deliberate. We go out, we practice twice a week. Sorry, not every 2 weeks. Twice a week. We have our own rehearsal space so that we've got all our equipment stored in case we need to use that for gigs. We all invest in the band time. We all invest some money into the band in terms of like I don't spend the money when we're away and stuff. Like that's just something we do in general. The band money itself gets reinvested in the band to pay for recordings, to pay for travel, to pay for flights. Like this is a serious effort on everyone's part for this to work well, and for it to be self-sustaining at the very least, and for it to be thriving as a business. If it all works well at best, and I think we're doing well. But my point is that didn't just happen out of chance. That was a serious point. That was something that we all had to have the same mentality of cool, we want to practice, we want to do well, we want to have a sound, we want to have an image or a reputation that people want to buy into, that they like, that they have some respect or esteem or lust for, and then we want to put that out there. And we want to enjoy it as well. And that's what we do.
So the lesson is never forget the value that you have and never forget the value that you bring to the table. Don't undervalue yourself. Don't let someone else take advantage of you.
And don't misunderstand the cost and the value. The price of something is different from what it's worth.
Cool.